Hi there, thanks for checking out my video. So I watched the Super Bowl halftime show yesterday. I'm not an American football fan or anything like that, but I do watch these shows because they're full of symbolism, Masonic and occult symbolism and numerology. And so I noticed a lot of things and decided to write a blog post about these things. So this video I'm making is I'm just gonna run through my blog post and put it into video format, because I know there's probably quite a few people who prefer watching videos rather than reading. But if you'd like to read this, if you're seeing it on YouTube, you can go to my website, thenarrowgateweb.com, and you'll find this post on this link here. You can also find an introduction to the decodes that I do by numbers and symbolism here, and I also recommend checking out some earlier posts. If you're a football fan, you might enjoy the one in February where I covered the 2017 Super Bowl a little bit. And for anyone who's not familiar with my work yet, I do have the main section of my website is laid out as a book, kind of, where I go through many different subjects step by step, and it's designed to be a ground up introduction for anyone who isn't familiar with the occult and symbolism and Freemasonry and things like that, to kind of give a bigger picture overview. So I recommend checking that out as well. And also, if you can also read a bit about me here on the About page, and I do invite everyone to get in touch through the contact page. I really enjoy interacting with my readers, so please follow the Narrowgate page. You can also add me on Facebook on my private page, follow me on Twitter and LinkedIn as well, for those who like that. But anyways, without further ado, so what I'm going to do in this, what I did in my blog post and what I'll do in this video is cover the Super Bowl a bit in general first, just to kind of set the stage, and then we'll go into the halftime show, which is really the big event of these Super Bowls, big rituals. So first, I put this meme here to remind ourselves what these events really are. And most people watch them on television, and television is the monster in your home, and it's controlled. It's called programming for a reason. Your television is nothing more than an electronic, mind-altering device. It has been designed to psychologically change the ways you view reality. Now, if anyone wants to learn more about television and how the Illuminati operate, how the television is a hypnotic programming device in essence, I've written a blog post called Kill Your TV, which you can find here. The first thing with Super Bowl, I'd say, is just point out the play on words in the name Super Bowl, which is based on Moloch the owl. I've written 2 blog posts introducing Moloch, and you can read all about the symbolism. You see it in the Capitol Hill grounds. It's shaped like an owl. You find the owl on the dollar bill. You find it in the Bohemian Club. There's the owl is a huge symbol for these occultists. I mean, they have a 40-foot owl at Bohemian Grove, and it represents the old biblical deity, Babylonian deity, Moloch. So you can see the Egyptians, the Babylonians, Mesopotamians, they all sacrificed to Moloch. And owls can be found everywhere in society. In architecture and buildings and logos, and so if you haven't read about Moloch yet, I recommend checking out those 2 blog posts. So you got the superb owl, 52. notice that this Super Bowl pitted the Patriots against the Eagles, and there's always symbolism in these. And symbolism here, in occultic terms, is, you have the American Patriots defeated by the Phoenix, because the eagle is actually a phoenix. And so you have the rise of the New World Order defeating the American Patriots. And so an interesting thing to note, in the 1988 Economist magazine cover, they showed a phoenix rising out of the ashes of cash, and the date on the coin was 2018. So 30 years ago already, they were predicting the phoenix to rise, the New World Order to rise. The same year that we have digital currency rising now with the iPhone X, the Phoenix, is the same year that the Eagles win the Super Bowl. These things are always very scripted. For example, another example would be how the Patriots won the Super Bowl, 3 times right after the 9/11, and also when Trump was inaugurated. They used that to, drum up patriotic feelings, bang the war drums. And so the game itself is also rigged very much with Masonic numbers. You see here you have Mason 696, 9's in the occult, 6 is 9. So it could be 666, as well as flip it all upside down. You got 969, which is the speed we're given for Saturn. Occult Saturn worship, black cube. So I'll cover the score a little bit. First of all, you've got the 33, very obvious. I don't want to get this number stuff to be very dense, but I'll cover it very quickly here. First of all, the total score is 74, which in Gematria is same as Lucifer. And the 41, 14 backwards makes the 77, which I'll show later on in this blog post or in this video that 77 is a key number. You've also got the 93 in the first quarter, symbolic of Saturn. You got the 13. This sums to 21, which is again, 22. 22 is a number that I covered in a lot of detail in my May article. It's a highly Masonic number, master builder number. So I covered, the 22 in the May. The May false flag in Manchester happened on May 22nd. There's a lot of stuff in here. It's interesting to read, I suppose. But the part I want to point out is the number 22. So we got here master number 22. It's the master. It's related to the number 11 and 33 in numerology. It's also highly connected to Freemasonry. I'll let you pause and read this if you want to read more. We notice musicians, Illuminati musicians, put out songs and albums featuring the number 22. A lot of false flags, as I said, happen. Manchester, London, Munich, Brussels, etc., etc. Happen on the 22nd of the month. JFK was killed on 22nd of November. 22/7, 22/7. 22/7 is also a way to explain. It's a approximation for pi, which is a key. Connects to the skull and bones, 322. Going back to the Super Bowl, so we have the 22 featured here. Incidentally, we have the day that the stadium, US Bank Stadium, opened was 22/7 again. Going to the scores, fourth quarter or third quarter, we have 14 and 7, sums to 21, which is 7 plus 7 plus 7. And in the last quarter, we have the 7 with a backwards 21, 777. And this is huge in Crowley's magic. If you think I'm making that up, consider the phone number for the stadium has a 777. You know, the address has a 1477. The US Bank Stadium in Jewish Gematria is 777, which is the same as Order Out of Chaos, and again connects to Aleister Crowley's Kabbalistic magic. You know, another couple of things. The Super Bowl Stadium, US Bank Stadium, has a capacity of 66,600. Again, not a coincidence. The coordinates of it are, you know, 44 plus 93 is 137, which is the 33rd prime. Executive suites, you know, 131, which is 13 backwards and forwards. So again, that's the 33 of Masonry. So that's just a little bit just to show how coded these events are. People wondering how this is possible. So many people will have to be in on it. But you know, these guys, they're just actors. For them, sports, professional sports, isn't you know, a sporting event. It's just a ritual, and they don't care about the sports. They're just you know, they're actors and you know, playing their Masonic, playing their part in this Masonic puppet show. There's also a very big spiritual element that allows you know, certain events to manifest as they do. But this is nothing more than a scripted, you know, scripted magic show ritual. But I wanted to get into the halftime show, which is the main event, really. And I don't really recommend watching the halftime show itself. I watched it once and then once through to grab screenshots. But it's very, when you see symbolism and understand how the occult works, things are very obvious immediately. So the main things in this this show to make note of immediately are, you know, it's very sexually suggestive, and Justin Timberlake was cast in the role of Lucifer. I'll show you that'll become very clear as we move through this. So I did a screen by screen analysis. The first scene, you have Jimmy Fallon drinking Pepsi, and Pepsi, as you'll notice, is red and blue. I've covered those colors. You know, red and blue make purple, which is why the royal color is purple, and you know, the Vatican, you know, Pope wears purple. It's a color that represents Lucifer. So in Freemasonry, the two pillars are blue and red, and the mixture of the two would make purple. That's why you see in the opening, you know, right after you see Jimmy Fallon, you see a scene entering the stadium. You see two guys, which are the two pillars, red and blue in the middle. You know, there's a lot of purple as well. You know, red and blue is purple. You see that with the head coach of the Patriots wearing purple. The entire actual stadium is purple. You know, the Minnesota Vikings, you know, it's symbolic with the horns. It's very, you know, everything is just a theater, planned out, Masonic theater. And they do it by the numbers and by the colors. Purple's a huge, you'll see prints later on as well. You know, purple's a huge, you know, theme in this this Masonic puppet show. There's also Gematria. We noticed Pepsi Cola is the sponsor. So Pepsi Cola in Gematria is 42 full reduction, 51 single reduction, and 96 ordinal. Same as Freemason, same as Zionism. This is all just coded, you know, Masonic codes. You have Jimmy Fallon, adds up to 13, because the 0 cancels in numerology. And the show itself also lasted 13 minutes, so 13 is another big Masonic number. Jimmy Fallon, you notice him here, he's sitting on the S, you know, S shaped like, you know, a serpent here. The name Fallon means superiority, or descended from a ruler. So there's clear, you know, serpent symbolism there, along with, you know, the 666s here, as well as in the, you know, further on in the show. You got 2 666s there. The Pepsi logo looks like the eye. Flip it upside down, 666 right here. So already just a couple of seconds into the show, and it's already, you know, very clear that it's, you know, Masonic. The colors, the numbers, the, you know, the symbolism. It's very clearly a Masonic Masonic ritual event. So before I get into the actual show, just looking at some numbers connected to Justin Timberlake. You know, This is from gematrinator.com, if anyone wants to try it out. There's a lot of different ciphers, but I focus on the main ones, mainly full and single reduction, English ordinal, satanic, the Jewish ones, and also Sumerian. Those are really, and Chaldean as well. The main ones to pay attention to. But you see, you got the 777, the 93 for Saturn, 69 Freemasonic, which is on top of the Freemasonic arches. You got the 33, 13, 13, 666. It's all here. Timberlake, just like Freemason, and just like Pepsi Cola. It all fits in. It's a scripted narrative by the numbers. And you might have noticed before that Justin Timberlake has, he does this one-eye symbolism before. Speaks about magic on his album cover. This is a reference to the verse Zechariah 11:17, talking about the woe to the idle shepherd that leaveth the flock. The sword shall be upon his arm and upon his right eye. His arm shall be clean dried up, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened. So this right here is just a mockery of, God. Also note, Justin Timberlake has a history of, from the Mickey Mouse Club. I covered MK Ultra in my 35th blog post, which you can find in this link or in the start menu at the top. So there's clearly, from the gematria in his name, from the MK Ultra connection, from the symbolism, Illuminati hand gestures, we can, deduce that Justin's been, he's very much been groomed for this role in this narrative. And so getting into the narrative, first we see Justin Timberlake in a basement, which is supposed to be symbolic of the bottomless pit, mentioned in Revelation 9:11. This is a big reason why they like the numbers 9:11 and do a lot of events and code a lot of things with 9:11, symbolic of their god. Abaddon, Apollyon, Satan. In this Super Bowl, we also see the two quarterbacks of the Eagles, with 9 and 11 jerseys. So the second scene in the basement, we see a lot of purple again. Very sexually suggestive imagery. We see black and white stripes, which is symbolic of the Masonic duality. You can see black and white checkerboard floors in all Masonic temples. Next, we see Justin Timberlake stand in the stairwell. He stands on a step that makes it. His head is right at the top of the stairs, as viewed from here, which makes a pyramid with an eye where his head is. So it's essentially the symbolism here is that Justin Timberlake is representing Lucifer, and he's rising out of the bottomless pit and going up the staircase, up the pyramid. And you'll see later on that he actually, at the last stage he stands on in the show, will be a pyramid. So he comes out of the pit, and it's very sexually suggestive scenes. Lucifer coming out of the pit and having some fun. His first words, the first lyrics he sings are, "Got time, but I don't mind," which is a direct reference to the verse Revelation 12:12. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So here he is mocking that verse. So we can see the numbers in these events are very scripted, and everything you see on television is there for a reason. So this picture might not be very clear, but if you watch the video, the show itself, you can see this number 59. It's very obvious, very big, noticeable. And again, it's the 5 plus 9 is 14, which is the double 7, 7-7. I haven't covered 7-7 much on this blog yet, but it comes up quite often. You have the July 7 bombings, 7-7 bombings. Flight 77, which was the one that supposedly hit the Pentagon. You can watch a bit of 7-7 numerology in this video here. But I copied a couple of images here to show this is all 77 is a big number in occult, in gematria and thelema, and so that's why you see a number associated with 77, 14. showing up right here. It's all about manifesting things according to the energies these numbers carry. And you've seen a lot of red and blue so far, purple. There's also black and red. First thing, he's strutting around on stage, all of his friends, black and red, black and red. You see that with the band as well. They're wearing black and red. It's very satanic. The stage he stands on here is the the cube, hexagon, Saturn black cube. I covered that a lot in the May post. Let's see if I can find that. So we have that here a little bit. The black cube, the satanic black cube, that Talmudic Judaism. They have this the tefillin. You have the in Islam you have the Kaaba with people walking around representing Saturn. In Iron Man you have the cube, the snake eyes in the Twin Towers. Graduation hat. The apple, forbidden fruit, is a cube in the Big Apple in New York. The Brexit referendum on BBC was a cube. I mean, the cube logo is very, very prevalent. So you have this, he's standing on the stage, this cube is very, you'll see it again in this show as well. It's representative of Saturn, Satan's kingdom. Here we go. Yeah. So this star is not the Star of David, it's the Star of Remphan is what it's referred to in the Bible. Star of your god Remphan and Moloch. Here you have the 777. You can see it represents the cube as well. Important numbers. So back on the stage, we see Justin Timberlake. In a very sexual scene with this person. Not sure if it's a woman or not. A lot of purple again, lightning, which is symbolic of Satan from Luke 10:18. And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. So again, we have, Justin Timberlake being represented as Satan. There's a lot of conjuring, him playing Satan, the role of Satan, Lucifer, conjures his spirit into the physical, unawares to, the masses watching this. They think it's just entertainment. But it's actually, magic rituals. Again, we have, he's standing on the big NFL logo, red and blue Masonic colors. NBC, Sun logo, they're the ones presenting this show. NFL, again, just like the 59 above, you have NFL makes 14, 7-7, again, just like the 59. You have the 13s, 66, 137, which is 33rd prime. You have the 93. 32 is a big number as well. Like the Olympic torch has 32 inches with the sun representing the 33rd. You have the sun rings often have 32 sections with the sun in the middle representing 33. Some say that 32 is actually the more important number in Freemasonry. It's the degree where, Shriners, Freemasons become Shriners at the 32nd degree. So moving on, we have the band dressed in black and white, making the form of a pyramid with a square inside. You could either say it's a pyramid with an eye there, or you could say that it's the square and compass. Either way, it's very Masonic symbolism here. Then we have probably what most people noticed most out of this show. We have the purple again. Jonathan Hogel pointed out that Justin Timberlake entering the two circles represents entering into the secret society, the inner circle. He's not in the outer circle, he's in the inner circle, and then he's singing about Prince, but this isn't Prince the singer, this is the Prince of the power of the air. Purple again is symbolic of Lucifer. So Lucifer is the one being honored, and you see in the video, you see purple spreading across the entire city, which is symbolic of the spread of Lucifer is, taking over the entire city. If it wasn't obvious enough, you even see a silhouette of the Devil's Tail behind the curtain, the man behind the curtain, the Wizard of Oz, in purple again. and at the same time, the lyrics that Justin Timberlake is singing while that devil is on the curtain is the song "I Would Die for You." I'm not a woman. I'm not a man. I'm something that you'll never understand. If you're evil, I'll forgive you by and by, 'cause I would die for you. I'm not your lover. I'm not your friend. I'm something that you'll never comprehend. This is, Masons could use this. They think Lucifer is their friend, but it's anything but. I'm your Messiah. This whole ritual is there to present Lucifer as God, and for people to view these symbols and symbolism in a positive light. So they associate Lucifer with entertainment and positive things, and subliminally that's why things get normalized. I'm not human again here. Lyrics. Then if it wasn't obvious enough, Justin Timberlake says 2 fingers in the air for Prince tonight. He's not referring to Prince the singer. He's referring to the Prince of the power of the air. As Ephesians 2:2 says, where in time past you walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. So that's the prince that Justin Timberlake is honoring here. This is an homage to Satan. The 2 fingers in the air make that very clear. You have Baphomet, 2 fingers in the air. And if it wasn't obvious enough, you see the air symbol, Prince of the Power of the Air. It's the Illuminati pyramid, the capstone, symbolic of Prince of the Power of the Air. And the very next scene after this homage to the Prince of the Power of the Air, the Prince, you see Justin Timberlake rising up on the pyramid. So now he's reached the top, and this is reminiscent of the verses in the Bible where Lucifer says, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. There's he's on a power trip here, and on top of the pyramid, he's reached the top, and that's exactly right after he's made the homage, the pyramid, the Prince of the Power of the Air reference. So then we move on. The very next scene, when he's singing on this stage, he's singing, "It's like you're my mirror staring back at me." And so that's the image, that's the connotation there. And it's, Lucifer said in the verse above, I will be like the Most High. Well, the Most High created man in his image. So if Satan wants to be like the Most High, and he wants to have everyone looking like him in his image, that's hence the mirrors. So given that Satan wants to be like the Most High, he'll have to recreate mankind in his image. So that's what the mirror symbology is. Mirrors are also used in conjuring, in the occult, in witchcraft, which this very much is. This is a witchcraft, a very occultic event to conjure spirits. We also have the image of the beast being referred to in the Book of Revelation. And the lyrics in the song, what Justin Timberlake is singing while on the pyramid is, I couldn't get any bigger. He's ascended already. He couldn't get any bigger now. Notice also that the shape of the mirrors, the people around the stage, are in a cube formation. Again, symbolic of Saturn, the black cube of Saturn, Satan. So moving on. If you still don't think this is a ritual, Jonathan Hogle has a good post on this. So Justin Timberlake was chosen to star in the halftime show. Since childhood probably. He's groomed in MK Ultra. So before the gig began, Jimmy Fallon sat upon the New York City icon Pepsi sign on an S, representing the serpent. Then we have Timberlake emerging from the Lesserfield nightclub scene. Very sexual scenes. He comes out dressed as Man of the Woods, which is the reference to the Mighty Hunter. You see that on his shirt. He has a deer. This refers to Nimrod, the Antichrist. And so if he's representing, you see it in both the color schemes, in where he stands on the pyramid, you know, in the stairwell coming out of the bottomless pit. You see it on what he's wearing, black and red. He's also got the deer, symbolizing the hunter Nimrod, the Antichrist. So Timberlake ascends the staircase. He's rising out of the abyss. Later he stands on an illuminated cube, while the band dressed in black and white form a V, making the Masonic square and compass that we've recovered. He stands inside the ritual circle and sings, "I will die for you," you know, to the devil-looking shadow. You know, the mirrors that I mentioned, they've traditionally been used to conjure up spirits. The show ends with Timberlake promoting unity, you know, the one world order. The motto on the dollar bill and on the roof of the Capitol Hill, you know, the Capitol Hill dome, is unum e pluribus, or pluribum e unum, out of many one. So it's unity, uniting all the religions. A lot of the adverts, On Point Preparedness on YouTube has a video on that, where it shows that the adverts were, you know, about the religions uniting into one. You know, you have the Catholics, the Jews, the Muslims, you know, all of them sitting in a crowd together and sitting in a car together. It's all about uniting everyone. And in the 2017 Super Bowl, you had the Pope making an announcement as well about uniting. So this is all, you know, everyone's uniting, and Lucifer is being painted as the, you know, the god that everyone should unite under. That's the message here, the ritual, conjuring up his spirit. Let you read this post. Jonathan has a few more, you know, good insights. But I won't labor through this reading here. So next, the pyramid turns into a rainbow scene, symbolic of the days of Noah, return of the days of Noah. So you might remember in the Bible, Genesis 9:13, the rainbow, the bow in the cloud, is a covenant between God and the earth, that He won't flood it again. So the rainbow's, you know, symbol of God. You know, Jesus also said in Matthew 24, but as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So men shall be eating and drinking and having fun, you know, like this kind of right here. And you know, what are the days of Noah like then? Genesis 6 makes it clear. In the days of Noah, all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. So it was very rebellious, very sexually deviant. Flesh was corrupt, perhaps cloning. You know, we see these things rising now. We see, you know, sexual rebellion with the rise of LGBT and transgenderism. These, you know, represented by this rainbow flag again, which is a mockery of God again. We also see the rainbow symbolized in the Freedom Tower, which is built like an anti-prism, you know, reflecting, you know, all the colors. You know, it's, you know, built with color theory in mind. I've got that in my Obelisk and City Maps blog post, the fourth one on this page, in the start menu. But so this is just a mockery of God, and you know, they're showing it very openly here. You know, singing about unity, all the world uniting. At the same time, you have the symbolism of you know, the LGBT, and right after that, you have the scene with Justin Timberlake with a young boy, and it seems innocent enough, but you know, all this stuff is very scripted down to the last detail. And you know, the promotion of selfies, you know, Super Bowl selfie, as Justin Timberlake called it, is promoting the satanic hedonistic lifestyle. You know, everyone's, you know, loving themselves. And there's a verse in the Bible saying, "Men shall be lovers of themselves in the last days." And you know, we see this here with, you know, selfie promotion, selfie lifestyle, hedonistic. And if you look closely on the boy's shirt, you have Sunny River, it's written there. You have Under Armour as the brand. Very symbolic as well. First of all, you have Sunny River in gematria, which makes 66, 33, 99, and 666. These are all connected. You have the 33, the 66, 99, 216, which is 6 times 6 times 6. You know, very, very coded, scripted with numbers here. The brand Under Armour. Some say it looks like the eye. Eye of Horus, one eye, could be, but I prefer the explanation of this being, you know, the vesica Piscis, the new creation, and the kingdom above, our kingdom, merged with the kingdom below. Satan, he's rising from the bottomless pit and merging with his kingdom. And you listen to things what the directors at CERN are speaking about, merging dimensions and opening up gateways. This is pretty much what they're doing, and this logo symbolizes that in a very big way. Under Armour in Sumerian gematria also sums to 888, which of course in Greek gematria is Jesus, 888. You always see the 888 connected to very satanic things like gambling. You see it represented in wrestling. The Triple H, cerebral assassin is what they call it. This guy playing the game. There is one game in town. They know all about it and they mock. So here you see they're mocking the real King of Kings. And so what they're doing with Masonic and satanic rituals like this is corrupting viewers, corrupting children, teaching them a lifestyle that's very satanic, very sexually deviant, and they want to corrupt all flesh, and that's mocking the 888, Jesus Christ, and not coincidentally, the boy's name turns out to be Ryan McKenna. Ryan McKenna in numerology, in gematria rather, is 119, which is symbolic of Saturn again. God Saturn 119, All-Seeing Eye 119, Master Plan, Divine Rule 119. Saturn 119. USA is based. That name is based on 119. And you see on the Twin Towers, the alignment geographically relative to north is 119.00 degrees. And so, I mean, this is all just a very nice script by the numbers, by the symbols. The message they're trying to send is very clear. They're trying to sell a satanic lifestyle, normalize the idea that Lucifer is God. And so put this little thing in here, last commentary, you always hear these guys on TV saying, oh, you couldn't script it any better, or they refer to, the stars of the game and, little magician and, that's magic, amazing, all these little things, they give it away. They say it right openly, you couldn't even script it better than that. And do you know why they say that? It's because it's a script. It's all a script. So you have this kid now becoming famous. His name's going to be in the news. Everyone's going to read about it. It's a control of narrative. It's people's attention is focused on this, and they make storylines out of it. So after the Super Bowl, everyone's talking about this kid getting a selfie, and that's all the newspapers are talking about. And that's where people's focus is on. So in conclusion, I hope I've shown you clearly that this is nothing more than a Masonic satanic ritual, and I'd really invite you to reflect, take a couple of minutes to think and look over this stuff, and think about what sort of message these kinds of shows with very sexual imagery, lyrics, and connotations, what sort of message is sent to the children. And it's not very hard to figure that out when you look back at history, how black culture has changed, with the rap industry. You see how, girls, how they dress, because this is why we shouldn't follow idols, because these are the idols we're presented with by the world, and this is the example set, and that's why you see, men and women developing into, reversing roles. You see the way women and men dress, from as little as 10, 15 years ago, or 20 years ago in this case, to how they dress now. Promiscuity is normalized, and it's through halftime shows and TV shows and entertainment like the halftime show. So society is becoming more and more degenerate, and this stems from what people see and learn on television and in shows like the Super Bowl halftime show. The Satanists who run the entertainment men industry are clearly trying to popularize a lifestyle of sexual perversion, hedonism, self-indulgence, and lust, all whilst also mocking Jesus Christ and presenting Satan and Lucifer as God. With that in mind, it's very important to become aware of the symbolism and things that are being promoted to you, and I really hope that this post has opened your eyes up to some of the things to be aware of in terms of symbolism, numerology, satanic imagery, and just the general message that's being sent. So your mind is programmable. If you're not the one programming it, then someone else is going to program it for you. And on a parting note, I also wish, I hope that this has opened your eyes up to the spiritual battle. Events like this are satanic rituals, and they conjure real spirits. And as you've seen by Justin Timberlake representing Lucifer and Nimrod, they're conjuring the spirit of Antichrist into the world, manifesting it physically. And I hope you'll, consider reading the Bible if you haven't already, and renew your mind, disconnect yourself from this satanic garbage that's being shoved in our faces, and affecting our minds in a subliminal manner. So I'm just going to read a couple of verses here for you. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separated, says the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Do not love the world, or the things of the world, or in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world. This is what is presented to you in this halftime show. And the world is passing away, and the lust of it, but he who does the will of God abides forever. And lastly, therefore if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away, behold, all things are become new. And when you're in Christ as a new creature, you can see this symbolism. It's not very hard. It's, I'm a very simple-minded man. But all of this symbolism is very easy to spot when you have a new mind, the mind of Christ, and you see through the numbers. Everything just pops out, and this is why it's very important to study our Bibles, so we know what's being mocked, what's being presented, the imagery, where we are in history, in terms of the times, and to see exactly what they're trying to manifest, what the symbolism means, what the numerology means. And so, please just look through this material. Please get in touch if you have any questions. I love interacting with my readers and followers on Facebook and Twitter, probably now on YouTube as well. And so please send me your questions, and I'll be happy to clarify anything if anything wasn't clear enough. And so please also help me share this information. I've packaged this in a way right off the bat, the day after the Super Bowl, so it can be shared while it's still fresh in people's minds. And I hope you'll also consider checking out more of my work. You can find it on starting in the introduction, going through. You can find a table of contents of all my blog posts in the main section. You can check out some podcasts I've done. I've been on Richie from Boston, Truth Media, Truth Revolution Radio, what's it called? Truth Frequency Radio. Decode of Truth, Unreal Media. I've been on a few podcasts there, and also my News by the Numbers, where just gone through the news and Super Bowl halftime shows and events, starting from December 2016. Decoding these things by the numbers, and it might help to start with the introductory page here, where you can learn the basics. You'll probably also learn a lot from reading these other blog posts, where I try to put in enough information to show the bigger picture without getting bogged down in detail. And so also like to thank you for watching and listening, and thank you very much.